So my initial source of inspiration for both my personality and message for the ageism animation comes from this animation called Hedgehog in the Fog. And what I really like about this animation is the handmade and found objects that is used to like create the different characters in the foreground. I think it gives it a really great sense of reality. Um, what I also like about this animation is the sense of depth going back into the field of vision. Um, it's really compelling and feels like you can reach into into it. Um, and I think the overall tone and gloominess of this animation is something I want to apply to at least the beginning part of my animation, as it's talking about negative things. Um, and so let me go move on to the next inspiration. This is an animation called or titled "Beautiful World," and what I like about this one is kind of the message. It has both negative and positive, and that's something I want to try to achieve. And what I'm going for with ageism, I want to show the negativity with that stereotype and how that can be turned into something positive. And so that's what happens throughout this animation at various spots. It shows the world and like the negative impact on the world, and then how we can make it better. Let's see. And what I also like is when it's negative, it loses its color. I think that's a principle that I would like to apply in my animation as well, of having very subdued tones to show that negativity in contrast with when it's positive and having full color. I also really like how like the animation builds up with like a primary animation and then like secondary things occurring as well um, in the background. Um, Another source of inspiration is this building's building GIF. And what I like about this one is like the pop-up quality of it. From the very beginning, I had an idea of wanting to do something that's popping up as like the primary animation, and then maybe having little secondary things occur as the primary animation occurs. Um, yeah, and I think that kind of goes along with the personality that I'm trying to go for, and that's a goal that I want. I really want to create a really good sense of depth. I think that's like my biggest goal for this project. And then I have some images as well that I want to use for inspiration. And I think this is another technique that can be used to create that depth is the shadows and the high contrast. That's what I really liked about this artwork. Um, there's a really good sense of depth going back and what's in the foreground and background. Um, and I really like the texture as well. Um, it really gives it a good like personal feel, like you can almost touch it and interact with it. The reason why I chose this photograph or manipulated photograph is because it might be a good way to inspire me to do like a collage, because I want to do not only handmade elements, but I also want to do vector and maybe possibly photography. And I think this is a good source of like using um, different photographs to make a collage and what that might feel like. And I chose this one because of the high contrast. It gives it a really good sense of emotion and of sadness, and I think that's kind of what I want to. I want to kind of capture that hopelessness at the beginning of the animation before I transition into a more happy state. Um, I like this piece because it kind of inspired me to like make something by hand. This was like hand cut out, and so like it's pretty awesome that this is just paper. Um, and so yeah, that's the different sources of inspiration for me. Um, yeah, so like Basically, the visual message that I'm trying for is like a darker mood that turns into something positive. Um, Visual personality I would like to do is like the different animations I showed, like the pop up, or kind of like that texture and handmade quality. My visual goals is to do a really good sense of depth and reality, even though it's going to be made out of collage and vector graphics. No.